Dodger baseball. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening.
What they did in their line of work, receiving universal love and respect. Carson, Sinatra, Jackie, Ali, and Elvis, and but a precious few handful of others. For 67 years, we have pulled up a chair wherever we may have been. Well, tonight, we are here. To the best of our count, since 1950, there have been 975 players who have worn the Dodger uniform, and he has announced the names of every last one of them. But besides announcing baseball games, he has been our barometer, our thermometer, our uncle, our dad, our friend, through good times and bad. We must also thank the Scully family for sharing him with us for all these years. Accompanied by his wife, Sandy, ladies and gentlemen, Vin Scully. Is their natural ability to connect to the fans on a one-on-one basis. Vin has been talking to and with us, the fans, for most, if not all of our lives. Tonight, a longtime ambassador of the game will speak on behalf of all of us. Please welcome Academy Award-winning actor and director, Kevin Costner.
Thank you. You know, the game is going to start soon, and that's how it should be. It's how Vin would want it. But before it does, allow me to say one more time for the record for all of us here today and for those watching, that we will miss you, my friend. We will miss you in our radio, our cars, in our backyard. You've been a gift to Los Angeles and to baseball itself. It seems forever that you've been guiding us through your personal window into the game. How lucky we were that day in Brooklyn when the microphone passed into your hands. You were the chosen one, the skinny redhead who stood on the shoulders of the biggest kid, ready to look through the knothole in the fence and describe to the rest of us what was going on. You were better than a golden ticket. You invited us all to pull up a chair, spend the afternoon, and then proceeded to walk us into the next century. You did it in a style so friendly and unique, so effortless, that years from now we will not be able to explain it. To those who never heard it for themselves, the game will not lose its way, but it loses a perspective, a singular voice that managed to capture a boy's game played by men at the highest level. You grounded it in a way no one else ever has, trusting that you never had to make more of any one moment than it really was. We couldn't be Kirk, and we couldn't be Sandy, but somehow you found a way to put us all in the batter's box, to put us all on the mound. Even those lucky enough to have a ticket to be at the game itself held radios to their heads as if they couldn't trust what they were seeing. Some some of my strongest memories of you were being in school, in the classroom, when the World Series still was being played during the day. Who can forget the teachers that we begged and then allowed us to stop our work, huddle around a single scratchy transistor radio? They may have been simpler days, but they were also the best of days. And with everything on the line, it was your voice that slowed it down. While we held our breath, you filled in the blanks. And when we couldn't bear to watch, or could no longer sit in front of our TVs because the pressure was just too great, you were at your very best. When we were lost for words, you were Norman Rockwell, painting the clearest of pictures, describing some of baseball's greatest moments as if they were nothing more than a familiar bedtime story. For 67 years, you managed to fool us into believing that you were just a sports announcer, when in fact you were really a poet, a wordsmith. It was a nice trick, and after almost 7 decades, you might have thought that we would have caught on. But now the masquerade is over, and the jig is up. We're all taking deep breaths, Vin. We're all struggling with our own emotions as we admit that we're down to our last 3 outs with you. Thanks for always giving it to us straight, the inning and the score. Thanks for helping us to understand the drama. Instead of being above the magic, you chose to marvel at it with us. It was through you, in a game that some call too slow, that we finally began to understand its charm, the slow drift down a lazy river. Compliments are not easy to come by in baseball. They're not given lightly by the players. When they come, they're usually offered up in the simplest of words. Your name is spoken with reverence, afforded only the greatest of players. A universal respect that is simply confirmed by quiet nods. The players would call you a gamer, a guy who never missed a start, a 9-inning pitcher who always kept you in the game, a guy who always gave you a chance to win. And if you never played the game, you might think it should be more to describe that kind of greatness. But in this game, it's all you need to know about a man. And if anyone ever wondered what it might feel like to have Vin Scully call your name, I can tell you for sure that it must be something close to heaven. I wasn't a player, but for love of the game, I had that moment. You called my imaginary name in my imaginary perfect game, and no one can ever take that away. So as the game gets closer, and we know that you have to move up to the press box, don't mind us as we turn in our seats to look up one more time. Forgive us our silly wave, our clumsy toast, our personal salute. And should your mind begin to wander as innings start to slip away, we already forgive you. If the memories suddenly become too thick, then just stop and look around. You're our George Bailey, and it has been a wonderful life. Your life is real. You found a way. You found your way. You found your calling. You did the work. You reached the top of your profession playing fair and never taking advantage. So we promise we won't be sad for you. How could we be? We're only sad for ourselves because we would all like to retire someday too. So But don't blame us. Don't blame us for wanting to push the sun back up into the sky one more time. We're asking God to give us extra innings and a Dodger win. You can't blame us for trying to hold on to you as long as we can. And you can't stop us from saying that we love you. So live your life, Ben. Live your life. And see the world with your sweetheart. And shame on us if you ever have to pay for another meal in public. So let's all stand as we just say goodbye to this man. Live your life, Ben. Live your life. Live your life knowing. Live your life knowing that you made a difference in ours. And trust that the list of the greatest baseball announcers in this century and the last, when they're finally drawn up, and the debate about who sits at the top heats up, as it no doubt will, that we won't engage, and we won't disparage any colleague you might have admired. We will simply smile and acknowledge that if your name is not on it, then it isn't a list at all. You leave us in the game, Mr. Scully, but not without leaving a lasting impression, and not without taking a piece of our broken baseball heart.
Gentlemen, Vin Scully.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, come on, it's just me. Thank you. That's not fair. You made me cry once tonight. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you. I thought I'd get that out of the way right away. Welcome to my Thanksgiving, because that is what this is all about. I should be on my knees today to pray in thanksgiving for all the wonderful things that have happened to me. I had a child's dream, and the grace of God not only gave me the fulfillment of the dream, He gave it for 67 years. I've loved this game for 80 years. That's a lot of years. But at no time did I even waver in my allegiance to the greatest sport we have in this world. I have tremendous respect for every single man who ever wore a major league uniform, going all the way back to my first year broadcasting in 1958. I know how hard it has taken you to get where you are, and I know how hard it is to stay where you are. And please God, let you all stay, let you all have great careers. Now, wouldn't that be nice? I would certainly like to thank His Honor the Mayor and Commissioner Manfred. I have so many friends in the business, from the playing field to the executive offices to the commissioner's office, to the media in the press box, to my friends, the sports writers across the country. But there is one group I really feel I must thank. You people sitting in the stands. Your enthusiasm, your passion for the game. When I was 8 years old, I fell in love with the roar of a football crowd coming out of a speaker on an old four-legged radio. When you roar, when you cheer, when you are thrilled, for a brief moment, I'm 8 years old again. What you have done is the reason why, despite the fact that I'm 83 years old, you have allowed me to have a young at heart. You really and truly have been the wind beneath my wings. I owe you everything. Now, people say to me, well, now that you're retiring, what are you going to do? Well, you know, if you're 65 and you retire, you might have 20 years left of life or more, and you better have some plans. When you're 89 and they ask you what your plans are, I'm going to try to live. I have a great wife whom I adore. I have 5 wonderful children. I have 16 grandchildren. And I have 3 great-grandchildren. I guarantee you, if I don't know what to do, they will find something for me to do. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart how much I appreciate what the Dodgers have done to put this festive night together. I will never, ever forget it. And I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And one last step, for those of you who wonder about what I will do, put it this way. I'm looking for a much smaller house and a much larger medicine cabinet. Good night, everybody.